You can stay there, mate. You look pretty. you're the one that sells these videos, man. So it's been quite a while since we've done a video on the variant, and that's because it's one of the biggest jobs we've ever done here. It's going full on show quality, and everything we're doing takes a long time because it needs to be perfect and it's custom made. So this month, or the last few months, we've been doing the air ride install. So everything breaks, everything is hardlined. We're gonna go all over that. Custom shifter as well. We're gonna get this into primer and really see it start to come to life. Engine had more mods, that's going in as well. So there's loads, absolutely stacks going on with this at the moment. So stick around, this one is interesting. Right, so this just shows the importance of planning and any install that you're going to do. We could have put these compressors anywhere, and on this car, everything is on show. You can't hide anything. So we've had to make everything look as neat as possible and work around everything else that we need. So of course, there's a fuel tank that fits underneath here. We want everything to look nice and smooth and clean. So we've got the two compressors up there. All the cables are going to be hidden, and all the cables are going to be exiting underneath that mount there as well. So you're not going to see hardly any of the cables. You're just going to see the one that plugs on there and disappears through that hole. This piece of steel there will be trimmed, probably in leather. Obviously the fuel tank just hovers underneath that. This also covers the sender unit for the fuel tank. Then we've got all these pipes which are running all the way down into the compressor. We've got the ones there from the compressors. They're running all the way down into the tank. On the back of all these are obviously exactly the same, and on the back, these are exiting again in hardline. And most of the time, in most cars, you would do the hardline that's on show and everything else will be in flexi. On this, because it's full show car, we go in hardlines throughout, on the air suspension anyway. So all these hardlines you can see here, exit through more bulkhead fittings, through into the top of the shocks. So it's all right making one, but you've got to make them all exactly the same. This is one of the last ones that's going to go from the flexi line, which comes to the end of the swing arm, and we're going to make up hardline aluminium -3 3/16 inch aluminium pipe, which is going to run really nice and neatly across the rim or the ridge of this swing arm. Now the swing arms have all been smoothed out. They're going to get painted later on. They're going to look really nice, and we're just going to have it running across there, nice and neat, tight bends running into the adapters either end. Now the adapters, they've been a nightmare to find out as well. It's way easier to do this in copper pipe. Everything is designed for copper metric sizes. It's dead simple. When you're starting to do things in dash sizes, you need adapters. So finding out your adapters, first off you need to find out your thread size for your calipers, and then you need to find out the thread size for the flexible pipe, and then find adapters to go from those to your -3 fittings, because they're all different flare sizes and angles. So that has been a bit of a mission, but as soon as you got that, you're just making a pipe from point A to point B. Now, Greg is going to show you how it's done.
To find a way to show them hardline piece of flexi line, and then see what's going on. If not, I need to move fittings, them loops, spread them, so we've got more flexi in flexi. That makes sense. For now it's on 100 mil, which is almost like nothing. The thing, you can plan the shape which you really want, but at the end you've got lots of limitations, because that needs so much space, that needs space, and you can dream about doing something what you really want.
job we've got to do on the variant is sort out the drains for the sunroof, because we put panoramic sunroof in it. We've had to leave this till this point, which is almost at the end of all the fabrication work, simply because we had to get to a point where we were able to take the quarter panels and the wings off. Up till this point we wanted to leave them on, so it's one of the last jobs. So each corner you've got a little drain tube, that's it, and it takes the water away from where the water will sit in the channel when it rains or you wash your car. It sits in the channel, and you don't just want to sit in there and fill up around the edge, so it drains away. That's why a lot of the cars, they'll rust in certain areas if they've got a sunroof, because they can get blocked with leaves and whatnot, and the water sits in there and just rots it away. So on this one, what we've had to do is you've got a tube at the back here. The pipe is going to link back around on itself, going to cut a hole out of the upper structure up here, which is going to be above the headlining, so you're never going to see it. That's going to run down this post here, through a hole which is yet to be cut in here, and then into this tube here, which Greg has already welded in, and just exit inside the drain, the inner wheel arch. So when you look in the wheel arch, it's just going to have a hole. You're not even really going to notice it, especially when the shows. It's going to be that low. It's just going to look like a hole in the wheel arch. You wouldn't even think about it. But that is the drain for the rear. So it's simpler than we thought it might be. We thought we might have to come out here, drop into this air box, things like that, but there's just not enough space there. So looping it around to this one, it's actually made life a lot easier, and it's a lot simpler than we thought it might be. Now on the front, the wing's just been taken off this side, so the hose is literally there. It's going to come straight down the A post, and there's plenty of room in there for that. It's going to jump out and then back into this A post and come down to the bottom. Now what we're going to do is make a little plate. So what I'm thinking of is underneath here, a little rectangle plate, 2 mounting screws in it with a tube welded to the top of it, so we can get the underneath, get that chromed. So when you look underneath the car, you just got a rectangle plate with a hole in it, chromed, will look like quite pretty. And then underneath that, we can have another hole where the pipe is going to come out of with a Jubilee clip. So the hose will be poking out underneath here. We can put it on, Jubilee clip it on, bolt it back up into the wing.
In any point, we've got some space behind the kick panel.
That panel we made though, you know, the flat panel, the wiring cover panel underneath, that's like butted up, isn't it? Edge to edge. So we need a...
That can drop. That could go inside at some point.
Oh, we could just come up higher up here.
At the top?
It doesn't need to go down there.
No. So we can go outside, above the kick panel, just in this area.
Yeah, just out there in the kick panel. That's a lot simpler.
Don't need to be at the bottom.
Yeah.
It's only what
you could just get to it like really easy as well. I mean, you probably wouldn't even see it. But we could just have some sort of a plate here.
You don't need a plate and just drill.
We could just have a hole, couldn't it?
Yeah. Just same as on the wheel arches.
Yeah, just a tube welded through there, hose straight on. That's so much easier.
Then that's it. Huh?
Yeah, cool.
Just get this water away.
So much easier.
At the top.
Yeah, man.
That's all. I will see how far that dashboard panel goes, so we don't have to mess with that dashboard panel, and that which goes slight under the dashboard.
Yeah, I think all that is above it anyway, isn't it? Because it comes to the bottom of
that's
this panel, isn't it? So it's about down here, I think.
About that.
So we've got all that area to play with.
Just a piece of tube welded onto it. And that's all.
Job done. Cool. That was easier than I thought it was going to be. I was thinking what I was going to do is copy off like the Pagani, like the Di Tommaso cars. They look awesome. And I was thinking if we get something, I mean, Christ, that's what, 12-15 mil thick maybe. I don't think it needs to be that thick. Maybe as thick as that, maybe 10 mil. If we come across here, kind of like, I don't know, round it off. So we can bolt that then, because that'll be self-supported from the bottom, which you can drill and tap up through the transmission tunnel, just bolt it from underneath. And then that bit across here can support this. So then we don't need these uprights here. And potentially we don't even need that base, because the base is just supporting that. So we just need to support that from this thing that's going to come across here, so when you look through, it looks like it's floating. So the other way is to relocate that idea somewhere. But we can't put that in the tunnel because the shift rod's only like there, isn't it?
Just get the spring inside the tunnel. The same things. Keep this stick pulled to the one way, to the one side.
You're gonna need something to bring heat against, don't you? You need something to bring heat against, and then you push it, and then you can't even do it now since it's on. And it just pushes it past, doesn't it, so you can get into reverse.
But how it's gonna work if that original one is pushed down, but to the side?
It's just the way of getting it. Because the original one, you push it down, and it just pushes it past like the ball that you've got underneath there.
But it's still down.
You push it the ball, you push the ball underneath, and then it just goes to the sides. They both work the same way. And it'd work by keeping that, but it'd be nice to get that out of the way because then you can completely see straight way through. The same, just have it looking cool from the one side, isn't it? To be fair, it looks just like that. You'd see that when you just, or you get rid of that, and that just disappears into a hole in the transmission tunnel. Which you think that's quite easy. It's just making a new mount, isn't it? Then they can mill that. I was thinking of just milling a hole down there, but obviously it's not gonna weaken it too much.
It's interesting.
Just want to ram it. Depends how big the hole is, doesn't it, really? You just have to like be quite thin, maybe like a 5mm gap all the way down. I think that'd be pretty cool. I don't know how to redesign that bit so it looks cool. Unless, you know, the bit that's going to come across here to, yeah, we obviously need a hole through that somewhere. But that thing doesn't need to be that big, does it? I mean, it's massive. That could be quite small just to hit on there. Maybe we could rise that up a little bit. You could have that a little bit taller, couldn't you? But potentially. Although it would change the throw of the shifter if you move that up and down. It just needs to be there, doesn't it? Just in the centre, it just needs to be that big.
Half of the thickness.
I wonder if you could redesign it so it's in the transmission tunnel. So just keep it underneath. It depends how much. I don't think there'd be enough room though.
Then that don't need to be that big. You just need to be there so you can pass this point. So that can be even made out of metal. The same things on springs on the plate. Inside the tunnel.
Yeah.
Like metal bar that doesn't need to be wide or anything.
Nah. Just needs to be something that can, just like that really, you just cut that one down or something. I just don't know if it can be go in the tunnel though, because I think right underneath that tunnel, I think we would have to drop, you know, like the hockey stick, the gear rod, I think that would have to be dropped down, that extended, so you've got room from the top of the transmission tunnel to where that like hockey stick goes. So you've got enough space in there to put that, basically, cut down version of that. And then that, because that ball threads into there, doesn't it? We just have to extend that. Let's make a new one or something. Right, so just briefly going over what we've just gone over in the office, trying to design how this is even going to work. Our idea is copying off how Pagani and the Di Tommaso create their works of art. They look so good. And this just looks more like it should be in a race car, but it still looks really good and it works really well. but what we're thinking is getting it's going to be a billet piece of aluminium machined out to make this work. But we're going to come across here, mount it to the top of the transmission tunnel from underneath with bolts so it's solidly fixed. Then we're going to come across here, swoop up and across there, and then bolting this framework underneath it so you don't have these legs and you don't have that base. So it's actually going to look like this is floating, which will look pretty trick. And I don't see, well, it will work. It's just that what we're going to have to do is chop these legs off, flip them upside down so they can bolt to our new mount, and the mount is then going to bolt from the bottom through the transmission tunnel. So it's not easy. It's not easy at all. But we're going to have to get a machine shop in. We're going to design it out of cardboard, the shape that we want. We're going to get a machine shop to come in, do whatever measurements they need to do, and machine this piece, and then it should just all be bolt on using the parts of this that make it work, the mechanicals of this, if you like. We're just going to mount it a different way. On this, of course, we're gonna need to cut this down slightly, have a new ball made for it, a new shift knob. And then also what I wanna do is mill a hole all the way down there as well, so you can actually see through the gear stick. Before we get the machine shop to come in and figure out the actual amount that we need milling, Greg's got a few little bits to do on the engine before the engine goes back in, before we can start all the filler work. But the interior has just been dropped off as well, so let's go and have a look at that. Well, so Hawks Automotive have just dropped off the interior, and I'm loving it. Now it's different when you've got a little swatch of colour to seeing it all in one piece and all trimmed. I think it looks great. We've got the Alcantara inset there on the speakers, the speaker mount where they're going to go. Still got yet to make a grill for that, so it's going to have a grill on there. So not exactly sure what that's going to look like yet. I don't know if they're going to trim that grill in leather and have it have some holes laser etched into it, which could look really trick. Or we might do a metal outlay in there. Not 100% certain yet, but we wanted to get it trimmed, get it in the car, and then we can have a look at that and see what's gonna look great. But the way these all fit together, it just looks great. There's so much work went into these. Obviously we have a vision of what they're gonna look like when they're trimmed, but you don't fully know until they're done. But it just looks great. Everything's gonna fit perfectly together and look really smooth as well. You can see there's just no lumps and bumps. There's no fixings gonna be seen. It's gonna look really smooth on the whole thing. You've got another one of these the other side, of course. You've got the seal covers, which are all dead smooth. They're gonna be fitted with magnets. You've got the under dash tray. The dashboard goes here, if you can imagine it in the car. Under dash, that's all gonna be trimmed in flat leather. It's gonna look so good and smell so good when it's done. The seats, they're doing a massive amount of work to the seats. Like, it's insane. We're rebuilding the foams on the front seats because they just didn't look right. We weren't happy. I had to go back to the drawing board and the seats. But on the front seats alone, they're all being refoamed. They're gonna look really, really trick. So yeah, can't wait for looking what this is gonna look like. But the only bits that we actually needed for now were bits in the back. Just gonna drill some holes for the coil cables so we can hide all the coils on top of the rear wheel arches inside the car. So we needed a few bits of trim to offer up in the car while it's still in the state it's in, so we can drill some extra holes for cables. But yeah, apart from this, now it's time to get the car ready for primer. And the variant is now in primer. Now, I love this. It looks so cool. It's my little baby. It's had so much work, this had. It's insane. Absolutely crazy amount of work we've done to this. Every single square inch on this car now has been modified. I can't wait to just part this up, hopefully next to a standard one when it's finished and you can actually see all these little differences, because to be fair, we're working on it so much, we probably forgot half the little details that we've done to it. But now it's in primer, you can really see all the details and the crispness of it, and where we've got to do slight little bits of bodywork just to get things millimeter perfect, because that's why we use such a light primer, is that it really shows all the door gaps and the panel gaps, because obviously they're all black because they're in shadow, so they really stand out now, which is exactly why we do it. Plus we can see the swage line down the side, which we're trying to get this way better than it ever was from the factory. It was shocking how badly these panels fitted. This car, when it came to us, it's shocking. If you ever see one of these that's standard, kind of unrestored, the panel gaps, they just don't fit very well. They really don't. So we've done loads of little tweaks to get everything fitting as nice and tight as it can do, and welding up gaps and all the rest of it. And yeah, we did get it in polyester spray fill, I think it was last year. Because we've got the side, we've got the panels on things, we polyester spray filled the sides to see where we were. We obviously did the roof as well, and the roof's sweet. That's all good. Blocked it out, and it still needed more work. Plus, also at the same time, we keep throwing more ideas at this car. We decided to go flush fit windows all around. I think at that point we decided to go one piece on the doors, but we've decided to do bonded glass all the way around. And because of that, we've squared off the window openings on the sides. So that's had a ton more bodywork as well. And we just perfected the way everything fits. And so that's why we had to get into primer. This will get blocked down, get everything perfect. What you can see here on the sides of the car. And then once everything else is done, then it will get taken apart, and then it will get into final primer. And then we can see the light at the end of the tunnel, because once it's in final primer, you know where you're at, you're blocking that down. Still taking time, obviously, but then you're into paint, and that's the fun bit. Starting from the front, we've even got rid of the drip rail since last time it was in primer. We've blended all this, and I know we've shown this before when it was in filler and it was in bare metal, but now it's in primer, and it's in white primer. You can really see the details how that's just swooping down there and just blending into that. And now because we've got rid of that, you can see all these body gaps a lot clearer. So this one's coming down here, and these gaps here are standard. So generally this one, I think it tightens up here, a bit like a Volkswagen van. The standard, it tightens up here, and it's a different diameter there, and it changes here. We've made it so it's a 4mm gap all the way around the door. So it just looks correct, you know. It's one of those little details that you would probably miss if it wasn't pointed out or put next to a standard car. So we've got 4mm gap all the way around the outside. So when you stand back at it, it just looks right. Now this goes into this gap here. The standard, that gap is massive, and they just shove a big seal in there so you don't see how bad it is. And also there's seals around here and stuff. We've got rid of all of that. We've got like a 1mm gap, probably 2mm gap between there. We're going to be putting a foam seal between there just to get that gap perfect, and obviously seal it so it's not paint on paint when that's bolted up. So that's nice and tight running into there. Obviously this swage line there runs into that. We've squared off this as well. We're not going to be running mirrors on this car for now. We're going to see how, this is not going to be a daily driver. I hope it's not going to be a daily driver. So mirrors look crap, so we're not going to use the mirrors. If they need to go on later, we can just bolt some on the side there. We've got some cool mirrors that we can use. But we also did it because this swage line, and it does need work, this is why we do it. But this swage line is standard. It changes, it's thinner and smaller there than it is there, then it runs into here, and it changes throughout the length of the car. And it's not perfect as well as standard, so that's had a ton of work to try and get that as perfect as we can. To this point, it's had good 3 coats of a heavy primer on this now, so we need to make it nice and sharp. You see there, it's slightly more rounded than it is there. You can't see that when it's just in primer, and you've got multiple colors going on, so that's why we put it into one primer, one color. You can see all that, and we can perfect that. It will have a little bit more filler. We'll probably have to put some filler just across the edge there, make it nice and sharp. Next time we prime it, like this again, we'll prime all the sides out again, block that back with the panels on, then it's going to come apart for final prime. This gap down there as well, again you've got a 1mm gap running all the way down. That's took a ton of work as well. It's insane the amount of work this has had. Obviously making it fit all down here, getting the panel to panel fitment perfect as well, making sure that nothing is going to touch metal on metal. That's all been done. Obviously all this has been squared up. That's had a ton of work as well. All this rain gutter as well, when you look down it was just very wavy all the way down. That's all been squared up and tightened as well. So what we've actually done is got a hammer and dolly, and we've dollied all of this down so that's nice and tight. So all the way down. I know you can't see it at the moment because we've masked up the sunroof. But yeah, that's all been done. It's nice and square down there. That used to have just the one exhaust cut out. So we've got rid of that and then just made it the same both sides, just to blend it in. We've obviously got the new exhaust cut out there, which is through the bumper. That's all been changed. That used to be about 1 inch deep. So I cut that out, made this new license plate mount, if you like, bead rolled that, welded that in, and that bead roll matches the bead rolling on the tubs in the front end. So that all matches. Obviously all this was badly dented when we got this back from the acid dippers. I don't know what happened, but that wing and this boot lid was very badly dented. It took a ton of work to get that right. So that's had a load of body work done there. But yeah, just perfecting all these lines. You see that's nice and sharp running into there. That one's not so sharp. So obviously we can just perfect that so it's exactly the same both sides. Rear window again, that's all been squared off. So that's gonna be bonded in. Nice little seal. We've got to find the right seal yet actually. I've got some seal, but it's just too thick. So we've got to find the right seal just to sit between the glass and the body so it just looks standard. So when you look at it. Obviously this side's the same, so yeah, it's took an absolute ton of work to get to this point. It's all these little fine details. Also with the rear lights, we're gonna get the bezels chromed, obviously the rear lenses, we're gonna get all those highly polished. I was thinking about doing like a 3D printed or a CNC milled rear light lens. Going off that idea now, I think we're just gonna stick with the standard lens, but just maybe just polish it out, lacquer it out, just make it perfect. But we're getting rid of the seal that normally sits around there and hangs off the edge and it just looks ugly. So we're gonna do a hidden seal on all the lights actually. Hidden seals on all the lights, so they just fit nice and just got a little 1mm gap between the two. So yeah, you can really see how it's coming together now. You can see the shape it's going and how crisp we're trying to get this, clean and everything, you know. So next thing for us, get this out. We're going to complete the filler work. Well, first off, we've got to wait for the steering column to do. We've got a new steering column to put in. That's gonna get done. New steering wheel, get that done. That's the last of the fabrication, the big fabrication on the car anyway. Get the filler work done on the dashboard, engine bay, underneath the bonnet, get that done. Then get everything into final primer, and then we're into the blowing it apart stage, taking it off the floor pan, and we've got loads of work on the floor pan to do as well. So there's a lot of work left to do, but it's so good when you get to this stage, you can really see it coming together. Okay, so this might be one of the coolest modifications, standalone modifications we're actually doing to this car. Now everything on this car is modified. It's insane, every single little bit of it, and not this. This was our first iteration of the steering column, which was going to work. It's a standard Volkswagen column, modified. Custom bracket on it. We'd already cut it down and modified that to fit onto the steering knuckles that we'd modified to make the steering even better and look better. But I've been struggling to find a good steering wheel for the car, something that suits the rest of the car, the theme of the car. The only ones we could find, because all Volkswagen steering wheels are boring. There's just nothing on the market at all for the steering wheels. They're just dull. They're the kind of motor liter wood rim steering wheels that you fit in camper vans. You know, they're great for certain looks, but not for the hot rod look that we're going for, the street rod look. So the only ones we could find were ones that you'd put in street rod, and they look awesome. And the one that I've bought now looks absolutely amazing, but the only way we could have fitted that to this column was by getting us a custom boss made, which was a ton of work. It was going to be a nightmare to make it work, and there was still a ton of work to get this to look as good as we needed it to, without the ignition barrel on there and all the rest of it. So what we decided to do is we've gone for a Flaming River, fully polished stainless steel tilt column on it. Now these kind of things you don't see fit to Volkswagens. They just fit them to hot rods, street rods, drags, you know, that kind of thing, like street cars in America. I have personally never seen one fit to a Volkswagen. So this might be a world first on a variant. I don't know. It's definitely out there. So what we've got to do is make it fit, of course. And the way to do that, what we've got to do is use the Volkswagen coupler at the bottom, cut that off, weld that to the steering shaft of the Flaming River one, which is no problem, so everything connects mechanically to the car. They come massively too long. I think it's 32 inches, we've got 28 inches long. We've got to chop that down. Luckily, that mounts in the bottom, so we're gonna have to put a little rubber bush in the bottom, so that mounts at the bottom. Make a new mount for the top, so that connects to our new mount. We're gonna have to modify the dashboard again, because it's a lot bigger than this one. This one's quite flat there. So it's a lot bigger there, so we're gonna have to modify the dashboard again. Not much of a modification, to be fair. And chop it down a lot and make it fit, and this is gonna look so good. I can't wait to see this finished. So it's a full billet steering wheel, it's a 3-piece, but it's a multi-piece billet steering wheel actually. And it's not cheap, but it looks so good, and it just suits the theme of the car perfectly. A lot better than this would.
I don't want to cut this fucking old one off.
Yeah.
Because it's there and it's been welded to the bulkhead. So if I cut this off, I need to weld one new one on, and that way I will burn the filler, primer, everything what we got outside. So I'm trying to save that. So I want to use what is on, just modified to go with this new one. Don't want to start from scratch and make more work for nothing. So it's not flat. I want to go there. It's not on flat, it's on angle, and that is on different angle. So
So Greg has got the steering wheel and the column in the car, and it looks as good as I could have ever wanted it to. I think the style of the steering wheel really suits the car and the theme that we're going for. And with what we've got planned for the seats happening, it's gonna look so good and so much different than anything else out there at all within the Volkswagen scene. It looks so good with the polished bit. Obviously, the billets, we're gonna have that trimmed in leather to match the interior. So that's gonna be like a tan leather rim there. On this, which is again what I wanted to do, you've got your horn push in the center, you've got your indicator store, you've got your hazards on the side, and tilt column as well, if you ever wanted to move it. So with the other steering wheel, we would have struggled to make the horn push look nice with the wiring. In this one case, hiding wires. With this, all these wires will be tucked around the top. You're not going to see anything at all. Also with the shifter, that's going to have polished and billet aluminium on it as well, which are going to match this. And of course, there's a few little bits of trim as well, speaker surrounds. I think we'll probably go for little aluminium polished trims around the speakers and a little bit on door cards as well, just keeping that theme going throughout the car. As well, the hole through there, we can have a hole milled through the center, so everything's got that flow to it. So I'm super stoked with how that could come out. From Spark Industries, they've really outdone themselves on this. It looks so good. So yeah, this is just one of the many things that we've still got to do on this car. The modifications are mostly done now, Now it's a case of blocking all the car back, getting all the filler work perfected, getting ready for final prime. Basically, that's what we've got to do next. All the weight is in the car, the engine's in the car, all the panels are gapped up, get everything perfect before the panel's going to come off. Body will then come off the chassis, get everything into final prime, inside and out, and then we've got some more custom work to do on the floor plan with regards to the electric handbrake, fuel lines, and quite a bit of work inside this transmission tunnel. So yeah, there's still stacks to do, but yeah, modifications are coming to an end and the final fitment is coming on. So yeah, like, subscribe, follow this journey, it's a good one. See you soon.